This is Newcap News with Nicole Stilger.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. The City of Lloydminster is now hashing out their wastewater woes in an effort to secure infrastructure funding from the federal and provincial government. Adam McAvicker with more on the city's attempts.
The applications are in, and with a July deadline for action looming, the ball is rolling on the city's Wastewater Treatment Plant Project.
If we can get this underway sooner than later, it will give us the opportunity to take advantage of the pricing in the construction industry and things like that. But at the same time, we want to make sure we find the solution that best fits our city.
There's been no word yet from the governments on the new Building Canada Fund, and a request for proposal is out for a design engineer.
Without more funding, we'll get to a certain point, and that's where we'll stop, because we just do not have the money to proceed to go to tender to award that project.
To secure that funding, city officials have been vocal, looking for support from neighboring communities and politicians.
And we're making that case on a regular basis. I don't want to say daily, but on a regular basis, every chance.
Fresh off the Saskatchewan Urban Municipalities Association convention in Saskatoon, Mayor Albers is speaking to whoever will lend an ear, including Saskatchewan's Minister of Highways and Infrastructure and Battleford's Lloydminster MP Jerry Ritz, with one message in mind.
The ramifications of what we do or don't do has much larger implications, and we know what happened in the summer of 2016 in the North Saskatchewan River, so I would like to make sure that we're doing our part.
The calls for endorsements have been paying dividends, with letters of support coming from the RMs of Wilton and Britannia, as well as the County of Vermilion River. Mayor Albers now reaching out to other communities to encourage development.
I've spoken today with the mayors of Prince Albert. Last week I spoke with the mayor of North Battleford and Melfort, asking for their letters of support, because whatever we discharge into the river affects those three cities.
The city is requesting just over $50 million from the federal and provincial governments, leaving the city responsible for just over $25 million in remaining costs to complete the nearly $80 million project. Reporting on the Wastewater Treatment Plant Project, Adam McVicker, Newcap News.
Well, it's been a bumpy 2 years for the provinces on both sides of the border city, but 2017 could be the year of the rebound for both Alberta and Saskatchewan. As Gina Martin reports, things are starting to look up in the prairies.
What's going on around the world is really having an impact here in Canada.
Pierre Cleroux has been speaking at chamber luncheons across the country on behalf of the Business Development Bank of Canada for years, forecasting the bank's prediction of the economy on the global scale down to provincial for the year ahead. For the last 2 years, graphs have shown the ugly truth about many of Canada's struggling industries. But 2017 so far is bringing a refreshing change.
For both Alberta and Saskatchewan, the last 2 years have been 2 years of recession, negative economic growth. What we are seeing is in 2017 we are going to see a positive growth.
Cleroux says the main reason behind the growth is the price of oil increasing and more interest in economic activities. When it comes to Saskatchewan, potash is still having its difficulties, but other sectors are getting a boost.
More investment, more activities in oil, but also the agriculture sector has been really affected with the weather over the last 2 years.
As for Alberta, the announcement of 2 pipelines by the federal government is expected to boost the province's morale. This on top of President Donald Trump's interest in the Keystone XL pipeline.
But also a very important factor, the rebuild of Fort McMurray is going to bring a lot of economic activities. For these 2 reasons are going to make the economy in a positive zone this year.
The growth isn't much, only about 2% for Alberta and around 1.7% for Saskatchewan. And after 2 years of recession, the city is getting anxious.
How fast? That's the question everybody asks. How fast will it come back? As the gentleman, the speaker pointed out, oil's not going back to $100 this year in anybody's prediction.
Regardless, Lloydminster's mayor isn't complaining.
And I think that the feeling I'm hearing in the room, talking to people that are in the industry every day and around the community, we're seeing some optimism. The rig numbers are starting to come up. People are going to work. It's a positive step.
Gina Martin, Newcap News.
The Lloydminster Fire Department and RCMP responded to a camper trailer fire at the corner of 53rd Avenue and 50th Street over the weekend. We spoke to a corporal on scene who had this to say about the situation.
The Lloydminster Fire Department and RCMP arrived shortly after the dispatch and found a trailer fully involved in flames. At this point in time, the fire is still under investigation, both by the Lloydminster RCMP working in conjunction with the Lloydminster Fire Department. There was some foot traffic in the area, and the RCMP are just requesting that if anybody observed anything out of the ordinary or may have any information about what occurred here tonight, they can give us a shout, and they can reach us at 780-808-8400.
Well, to honor contributions to the community by kin clubs, Mayor Albers has proclaimed this week Kinsmen and Kinettes Week in Lloydminster. The proclamation comes as kin clubs celebrate 97 years in Canada.
The great work they've done in our community and other communities and helped those certainly less fortunate through Telemiracle with supporting different projects over a period of time.
Local members were on hand for the proclamation, saying they appreciate the support from the community.
We do try to put our community's greatest needs at forefront, and we fundraise and do different projects within the community to benefit Lloydminster, and it's nice to get the recognition back from our mayor and from our community.
The local kin clubs plan to give out random acts of kindness this week as they prepare for the National Day of Kindness this weekend. The 5th annual Lakeland College President's Gala is just around the corner, and with all proceeds going towards the students themselves, they're hoping for continued support from the community. The evening will consist of a 4-course meal, silent and live auctions, luxury raffles, and a live performance from Canadian country singer George Canyon. With the event being planned and run by students, the proceeds will go towards scholarships and bursaries that highlight student leadership.
A lot of our focus at Lakeland College, of course, is on students, and particularly students in leadership roles, and that's very much going to be evident at the event, and that's the whole purpose of raising this money. Is
the college hopes that the event will also provide opportunities outside of the financial benefits that come from sponsors and the event.
If any prospective employers find, a really nice, engaging young student while they're attending the event, then who knows, it might be a future employee. But I think that allows our students to engage with a lot of people from our community and surrounding areas.
The gala is set for March 24th. Well, a dog and a cat are up for adoption in this week's pet project. Dot is a 5-month-old pup, and Cauliflower is a 1-year-old domestic short-haired cat. With more, here's John from the SPCA.
Dot, a 5-month-old pup, is as fun-loving as they come. Dot came to us as a stray in late January and immediately won over the hearts of the staff and volunteers alike with her goofy demeanor. Life is just one big game for Dot. She absolutely loves to play, whether it's indoors or outdoors. Since she is still young, Dot can be a little clumsy as she gets used to her growing body, but she takes it all in good spirit. Dot is very smart and eager to learn too. With a few treats and a little bit of patience, there's no limit to what this dog can do. Dot will be the perfect addition to any family and is guaranteed to give years of enjoyment and unconditional love in return. So don't delay. Stop by the SPCA and meet Dot today. This gentle girl is Cauliflower, a 1-year-old domestic short-haired cat. Cauliflower was found in the Lashburn area in early November with a litter of 6 tiny kittens. When she was brought into the SPCA, Cauliflower had a severe infection to her right eye. Despite this, she continued to nurse and take excellent care of her kittens. After several attempts to treat the infection, it was determined that Cauliflower would have to lose the eye. It took a few weeks to recover completely, but now the area is healed and Cauliflower is ready to find her special family. Cauliflower is as sweet as they come. She's not a high-energy cat. Rather, she is perfectly content to sit on your lap and receive tons of pets and attention. Within a few minutes of meeting Cauliflower, you'll see what a wonderful cat she truly is, and won't be able to leave without her. So what are you waiting for? Visit the SPCA and meet Cauliflower today.
When getting traded to a new team, it can also take some time to adapt to a new city. In this week's Beyond the Boards, Drew Miller sits down with Rob Johnson to discuss his transition to the Lloydminster Bobcats.
Getting traded in any level of hockey can be quite the shock. Rob Johnson was happy to find out it was to a city like Lloydminster.
I heard it was a pretty good town. It's small and I like it. It's nice. It's a good hockey town, and I heard that the community really supports the team, so I was really excited about that.
But coming to the Bobcats would not be all new for Johnson, as he had one familiar teammate in Wilson Northey.
First time I played with Rob was in Kamloops, British Columbia. I had heard about him a little bit. Hockey's, a bit of a small world, so I'd heard about him from a friend, and we ended up being matched up on the same line for like the first quite some games, actually.
When the trade happened, Northey was surprised when he found out.
We were getting ready to go play a game, and he had just all of a sudden texted me out of the blue. And he said, "Hey, how's it going?" And I hadn't talked to him since Kamloops, or since I think at the end of the season last year. And I said, "Not bad, I like it here in Lloyd." And he said, I said, "How is it in Whitecourt?" Because I knew he had been dealt there. And he said, "Oh, funny story, actually, I'm coming into Lloyd right now. I just got traded."
Since the move, the two have moved in together, and for Johnson, having someone to help him settle in has been a huge help.
He took me on a tour, so it was pretty nice to see the border town, and it was pretty sweet. He helped integrate myself into the team pretty easily, and yeah, it was good.
Johnson has been a huge addition, achieving 15 points in 19 games. Happy to bring his style to the younger Bobcats.
I'd like to think that I bring a lot of speed and skill. I have a little bit more size too. The team isn't as big as most teams in the league because of the age, obviously.
And with the way they are playing now, he knows they can make the playoffs.
I think we have the skill, and I think we have the communication that we need on and off the ice. So I mean, we just need to find a way. That's all.
Drew Miller, Newcap Sports.
After back-to-back losses in Frog Lake, the Lloydminster Junior B Bandits are back home for a tandem of games at the Civic, and it began Holiday Monday with a chance for the Bandits to earn their first win of the series. Lance Phillips with more.
Fans in Lloydminster looking for exciting playoff hockey needed to be at the Civic Monday. The Bandits and T-Birds engaged in a spirited high-scoring game, with Lloydminster doubling up on Frog Lake in a 6-3 final, winning its first game of the series. The difference in the Bandits game was summed up in 2 words.
Work ethic, for sure. Our guys work start to finish, and they stuck to our game plan. Like we have a good game plan, man, and you know we did it in spurts up in Frog, especially the tail end of the second game. But tonight we did it start to finish and didn't get rattled.
Came out slow a little bit. You know, we don't have many afternoon games, but yeah, it was fun. You know, all the rough stuff. It's fun when you come out on top in a game like that.
Entering the game, Frog Lake held a 2-0 series lead, which meant the importance of a win at home was paramount. The game also had a bit of everything fans could want.
That was a good game of hockey, man. You had everything. You had big hits, nice goals, some scraps. Like, you couldn't ask for a better Junior B hockey game.
Oh, it was awesome. It was the first time this year that we've had pretty much a packed barn, and just to enjoy with all of our teammates and having people in the stands watching us. It was just awesome atmosphere.
Oh, it was huge, yeah. It would have been pretty far-fetched if we didn't get this win. We got to take these 2 games at home, and then it turns the series into best of 3, so.
Monday's victory for the Bandits started well before puck drop when the Northeastern Alberta Junior B Hockey League named Maydonic a second-team All-Star, and Cruikshank, well, he was given Coach of the Year honors. 2 feel-good stories from one of Lloydminster's last remaining playoff hockey teams. Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.
Well, both Lakeland College basketball teams finished regular seasons this past weekend, and while one team is locked into the conference championships, the other is backing its way in. Lance Phillips with more.
It was a tough weekend for Lakeland women's basketball. The team's point guard, Nike Lee, walked out 2 days before its final 2 games of the season, and the effects were clearly felt with the Rustlers losing to the ACAC's only winless team, Grand Prairie. Both coaches' post-game comments echoed very different attitudes towards their respective teams.
We got to be better, and the girls know that's embarrassing for them the way they played. Hopefully they bounce back tomorrow. It's a team that hasn't won a game all year, and they kicked the crap out of us, really. So.
Thank you. That was all I could say. Again, for their effort, their hard work, the dedication to each other and what we're trying to do. And I don't know that we could find another group of young ladies, dedicated student athletes at this point of the season without a win would still be working and digging and clawing as hard as they do.
Both squads are dealing with injuries, which means bench points don't really exist. But according to King, it's not the reason his team lost.
I think today was a lack of communication. We looked really nervous. I didn't think we stuck to our values very good. Like, we were chasing on the perimeter. Usually we stay at home. We're pretty fundamentally sound. I think the pressure might have built on some of the girls.
It's a lot of pressure, but I mean, coming in like a 4th year and one more year left, like Chris looks at Shai and I as bigger players on the floor to lead and stuff like that.
I guess we couldn't just run our offense and we couldn't keep it together to pull out the win, which is pretty tough, but it's all on us, so we have to kind of take care of that.
The men's side split the weekend series with the 77-65 win coming Friday, but first half offensive problems nearly cost the team the victory.
It's been pretty frustrating. The first half, I was kind of letting guys roll with it. I was kind of let them take control of the game, our guys, and see what would happen. In the second half, it was close, so we were losing down by 2. So you made a couple adjustments, and thankfully guys made plays.
Inconsistencies have been a problem all season, and the way the team played in the fourth quarter makes everyone realize its full potential.
Oh man, there's no word for how good we can be. If all our shots are falling, it's crazy. I don't think any team in Canada in this league can stop us.
There's no one that can beat us. And I think if you ask around the conference, you ask coaches, you ask people who watch film when we're playing, there's no one beating us. But we beat ourselves, and in the next 2 weeks, if we can string it together, we're going to be tough.
We know we could be a really good team when everybody's clicking, and we know we could be a really bad team when we're not, right? We could lose to anybody, you could beat anybody. So it's a lot of good, a lot of bad. Like you said, it's frustrating at times, but I'm glad we have the team we have, and hopefully we get it and it clicks.
As the regular season draws to a close for both teams, it's become abundantly clear that on the men's side, the only people standing in their way are themselves. And for a team that has a very real possibility of winning a conference championship, it's an area of their game they need to get control of quickly, or the postseason will become the short season. Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.